Good afternoon. Welcome to my very late Wednesday Facebook Live. It is now Friday, the 12th of August, and I apologise for my tardiness. Really no excuse other than being very lazy. My parents are moving this next Friday, so a week today, this time next week, all their gear should be on their way to Ashburton. So it has been a lot of work there as well as here for me to keep up with all the phone calls and correspondence and such like. But anyway, it's nearly all done. And I'm finally here. So I apologise again, and when you see me, you can smack my hand. Okay, just a reminder, the celebration is still going until the end of this month. And I've put a post just before this, and I will try and put a photo in the comments of the new celebration items that have been added to the celebration. I'll whip to the library this afternoon and print out a copy so I can show you the actual copy of it next week. But there's dies, new papers, and things that, and embossing folders. A couple of things that have been in the annual catalogue have been brought forward to be as a celebration item. The wood grain embossing folder and the gingham embossing folder, both are on that list. I just bought the wood grain one, and a beautiful die that isn't actually in the catalogue, and it goes with the home stamp set. So I'm going to, that's what I've just ordered, the order I put through last night. So that will be cool. I'm hoping that it might be coming out as a regular item. I can't see that they just made it for a month, but any which way. So the celebration goes till the end of August, and that means that any order you put in to the value of $110, you are entitled to a free gift, whether it be these dies or the hippo stamps. And they are $110 order each. So if you've got a few friends put together, get $210, or if there's some the new ink colours you still haven't got or something like that, then yeah. And this gorgeous paper, we have used a couple of sheets out of that. That too is $110 order. That one's sold out, so there's no point in telling you that. These sketches, I don't actually particularly like that myself, but I have several customers who have earned that with their thing and have got it. So yeah, and then this one here is a, whoops, put it in the camera might be a good idea, Felicity. That's just all sentiments, and that is free with a $220 order, as is these gorgeous caravans. Now, I know in America that they, or overseas, they have already sold out. So if you're holding up till the end of the month to put in an order, all these are only while stocks last. So they are a $220 order, and they do coordinate with the trees for sale stamp set. So they are in the mini catalogue. So if you're holding up for this one, my suggestion is don't hold too long, because it might just run out. And then again, we've also got the mini catalogue, which goes till January, something like that, and of course the old annual catalogue. But anyway, I'll get on with making these two cards. Now, what I have done here is, because I botched up last week and made a whole mess of everything, literally everything, and made, I can't find, it's just further away than I reach, made my card that I put in all the pieces for this with these bits. So I'm going to actually make the card again. I haven't put all your kits in, and make it so that it actually is the card that you were supposed to get. So, or supposed to end up with. So if you haven't done last week's cards yet, it might pay you to hold off and do them this week, and you've got two of the same. Right, so your card base will be folded in half. This is Sahara Sand. And then all I need for you to do is fold it into that fold again. So you're making almost a gate card. And then we're going to just score this piece and fold it, still in the cutter from last week, and fold it at 1/2 inch. Now put my scoring tool, whoops, nearly cut my finger. Put my scoring tool in the line and score that at 1/2 inch, because this is actually going to be the piece that holds our card together. So that's just about so we're going to score this in half, give it a good burnish with the bone folder, and then we're going to, oh, what have I done here? We're going to put this on the inside of here. Right, so we're going to put one piece there. It's just a smidgen longer than needs be, with a bit of adhesive. So take the end out of the glue, a bit of hair on it. Right, so in the camera, Felicity, put a bit of glue on the end side of this. I'm only going to do one side at a time because I'm not clever like that. And bring that down onto the edge, the very edge of that piece of cardstock there. So now our gate fold has a wee edge on it, basically, is what we've done so far. Put that so that it's right at the very edge. You don't want a border of any sort, because what we're going to do here is then fold that, score that down, make it firm. We are then going to put a bit of adhesive on this edge, right, like that, and bring this piece over onto here. Okie dokie. So that is now basically going to be a square. Just making it firm and making that glue stick. You can use Seal or Seal Plus or double-sided tape or whatever. Now I'm just going to trim that off there, just so that it's even. Put my trusty snips away again. So now we've got four ones. So we've got a lopsided square, but that's all cool, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to put these early espresso pieces on. I've got way too many here. I only need 4 and I've got 7. So I must have had some leftovers. Right, so we're just going to pop these on here like that. Now they are a little bit big for there. So what I'm going to do, oh, that one there's maybe that back one is just a cement. Maybe that's why it's not square. I didn't score it correctly. But we're just going to put the early espresso on here. Now this has got no moving to it or anything, so you don't need to put a huge amount of adhesive on. It only just needs to be enough to adhere it. There is no working or anything on that. And then another bit on here. You see, that's not exactly square because it's not lying down flat. So yeah, my gatefold had a little bit of a gap in it, so maybe you need to score it better than I did. Well, you do need to score it better than I did, but that's all cool. it still lays flat if you do it this way. So this way it will lie into a envelope. It's not right even, but yeah. So if you lie it that way, it still goes into an envelope flat. And then see, those two pieces are actually just a smidgen too big because I didn't fold it properly. So I should have grabbed another one and folded it correctly. So I'm just going to skim these into my little trusty trimmer, and let's fix that little tip up. Put a bit of adhesive on the back, and then that hiccup has been averted, fixed, whatever the word is. Okay, let's move in the camera, sorry. So I hope you're all coping with the winter and keeping warm and dry. We've had a horrific amount of rain, haven't we? So hoping you've all kept warm and dry. Spring flowers are showing in the garden. And the other day when I went to Methven, there was little lambs. So that was really, really exciting to see some little lambs. Right, so now where that seam is your back. So now what we're going to do is we will have one piece of Very Vanilla, and we're going to pop that on one of those back panels, because then that's where you're going to write your message, Happy Father's Day, Merry Christmas, whatever. This, as I think I said last week, this would make a great anniversary card, because the sentiment that is actually on it says together for the long haul. So it would make a nice anniversary card for hubby. But to be fair, it's a good friendship card too. So that's those bits all done, out of the way. Now we need, Felicity, where are they? Over here. Panic, panic, panic. There's only two though, no, there's three. So then we've got these three panels. Wait till it focuses. And we're going to pop those on top of these other brown panels. Okay, so these are out of the He's a Man Designer Series paper, or He's All That, or whatever it's called. This is He's a Man Designer Series paper and suite. I've got the suite, but I didn't get it as a suite, as a whole bundle, because I did it in pieces, so as I could afford it all I couldn't afford it all at once. So with the bundle, I suggest you get the bundle, which is the stamps and dies in this case, and then you do get a 10% discount, and then to get the papers again the next time, and the likes of that, so that yes, you get the saving of 10% with the bundle. There is no further saving if you buy it as a suite. It just means that you only have to put one number in, but cost-wise, it's if you break it down and pay a bit here and a bit there, it does help your budget a little bit, unless of course you're signing up as a demonstrator, and then when you buy it as a demonstrator you get a minimum of 20% discount on your purchases, which makes for great hobby crafting. You don't have to be making cards, you know, you can use it for scrapbooking as well. These papers, and now I've got it all over my jacket because it's so cold in here. I've got my jacket on now. I just dropped that on my jacket, so I now have glue all over my front. Yeah, so you don't have to be doing cards Scrapbooking is great. Great. You can do your scrapbooking with the products as well. So if you wanted to save some expense with scrapbooking, you can do that as well. So, and it's a minimum of a 10%, a 20% rather, discount. Now that 20%, if you're buying a bundle, you actually get a 30% discount because the 10% is still linked onto it, and then you get your discount that you get as a demonstrator. So that's just a wee heads up. Right, now what we've got here is, I'm just going to poke these out. Now these are just the cutest little things, and I advise you poke your bits out over the rubbish bin because you'll have them everywhere. And these little bits here make you think of chocolate, and you look at it and you think, oh, I'm going to have some chocolate, and you haven't got any in the house. But these are little argyles cut out with the dies, and you actually get 2 dies for this. So when you're cutting these out, you can cut 2 at once, which makes for life a lot easier. And as you see, this piece here doesn't pop out. That's little 4 windows here, but these little triangles here just stay as a solid piece. And then we can pop out the other one. So we've got little pieces around the edge of that triangle and pop those out. So this makes for a good card for a golfer as well. But I just like these little argyle dies, except for poking out all little bits. Hence why you've got your own bits to pop. So what we're going to do next is these go, keeping the back at the back, and we're going to pop one of these on this side in the middle-ish, and I'm just going to pop a little bit of adhesive on the back on that solid piece. Come on, thank you. On that solid piece, and then just scan it across those edgy bits so that, because it's dark brown, you can see, well, if you're using Tombow, you can see where you're putting it because it's a white glue, but it does dry clear. So it's actually great on something dark like this, that you can see where you're putting the adhesive, just little wee bits. So it's going to just catch. It doesn't have to be great gollops like that was. Just really little weedy teeny bits. Again, I probably should have used my adhesive sheets on here, but to be honest, when I was doing this, my brain wasn't thinking very well at all. But then we're going to put it on. I'm going to put mine this way. You can put yours that way if you want to, but I'm just going to put mine. You couldn't see that anyway. You could put the diamond pieces at the top. I'm going to put my diamond pieces at the side and just pop that on there, sort of straight like that, and hold it down just till that adheres. Right, and then we're going to do the same on the other side, making sure that we've still got this joint at the back. So we've still got this is still on the front, bit on there. You could also do this with the sponge technique and just put a bit of adhesive on your silicone mat and then get the sponge and bring it, oops, that's too much, bring it up to the argyle and just put it on those little thin bits. I think that'll be enough because the other piece will cover that. Right, and now I've got glue on my desk, and just put it on this piece, making sure you check where you're putting the other one, where you put the other one rather, and that. Just need to go just a little weeny teeny bit over that way a bit, and put that on there. Again, holding that down until it adheres. Now, while I'm just holding that, I'm going to wet my finger and rub it on my pants. Take that glue off my workstation. Right, hence why you use the silicone mat. Right, so that's looking good on there. Not stuck down there, but anyway. Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to get the round. These are cut, all three of these sizes are cut with the, I don't know what that size is for. Cut with the shapes, stylish shapes dies, which are rounds, circles, squares, and banners. So we're just going to stick this one onto the front of the Early Espresso. So this is very vanilla, and it's stamped with, as I say, the Together for the Long Haul. Now that one is just on there because it's a circle. You only have to really work out where it is on the edge because it's a circle. It goes evenly. So I'm not sure what that bit's for. It's not on my sample, so maybe I just cut that out by mistake. So you have a circle spare. Now what we're going to do with this piece is score that in half. If you've got a scoring tool, just score it in half there, or if you haven't, just fold it in half. And all we want to do with that is pop it on here. So we're making this our mechanism for the circle. So when you put it up, the circle sits in the camera. Circle sits like that. Okay, so you unfold it, fold it down like that into your card, and then you open it up and that circle sticks out. Okay, so that's all we're doing with that. So I'm going to just pop that, and you pop it on the front piece here, and you pop one piece on your card, butt it right up to as close to that fold as you can get it, and then one piece on the circle. So I'm just going to put some adhesive on there. Now this is probably the only working part of the card, so just being a little mindful that you're putting that on there. So pop that right up to the fold line and hold it down for a second or two, like that. Whoops, that's not quite straight. Really needs to be straight, otherwise your circle's not going to work. And then when that's held down there and stuck, you then bring this piece on and put that in the very middle. Okay, so you want the glue on this piece, you don't want it on the brown because you don't want it on all of it, but you do want enough that it's going to catch and hold. Right, so between the A and the U and the E and the T is where your middle is. So that gives you some guideline. And hold that on there, make it flat. Okay, and that is your card. Look at that. Look at that. See, so it sits like that, folds like that in your envelope, and stands up like that. Okay, so that is what we should have done last week. So, but I liked it so much, I redid it and put all the bits in your kit, and so that we knew what we were doing, or should have been doing last week. So as I say, if you haven't done last week's card and you want to do it the way that I had intended it to first go, then that's how it goes. Now this next one is actually one of the designer series paper you get from a celebration free item. It's called Wonderful World, and you get the paper and stamp set, which is a $220 sale, and you get that free. The paper is gorgeous. These two pieces that I've used here are out of that paper, and I do love the lemon yellowy colour base. And then I have just used this flower, which is on the edge, so I'm just going to just cut off. So you can either do cut a piece off it and make it 2 halves, so you can then make 2 cards, or just put the whole piece, whichever way you choose to do your card. I did try to cut these out with a scan and cut, but for some reason my scan and cut just wouldn't play the game, and it was getting way too cold for me to be bothering fighting with it anymore. So this one and another one I tried to cut with a scan and cut for you, but it didn't want to play, so sadly you have to fussy cut them. Excuse me half a second, I've got a drip on the end of my nose, both sides of my nose. Okay, so that's just, of course, because this is a designer series paper, you've all got different ones. So some of you will have this flower, some will have another one that's very similar to this, some of you will have a pink flower with the yellow centre. But the designer series paper, of course, has all different flowers on it, and they all as equally as nice. I know what I haven't done with this kit is I haven't put a sentiment in it. But I feel sure you'll all have something at home that will make a sentiment. So I'm just cutting very carefully around this bit because it's sort of a bit fussy to fussy cut. And then leave that bit there flat because it's going to go up against the card. Trim that off, and then we've got a little, like a prickle here, or a nodule for another leaf to grow out of. So that's that fussy cutting. Right, so that can go in the bin. And then what we're going to do here is, this is the embossing folder I was talking about with the timber, and I think it's lovely. And this is one of the items you can get for free if you spend $110 between now and, well, before it closes the 30th of August, 31st of August, 31st of August. Right, we're going to just score our white piece of cardstock. Now, you have the choice. If you haven't got a flat one like I have, you can put this in the middle, but because I've got the flat edge, I'm just going to put it right up against the edge of the card and not have a border down that side piece. And this is one of those ones you can do. In fact, I probably should have done it the other way. No, I don't think so. You can have it debossed or embossed. It's entirely your choice. Putting that on there. And because the fibres of the paper are broken with the embossing, it just needs to adhere it nice and firmly so that it doesn't buckle. Because with embossing like that, with a bigger piece of emboss all over embossing, it's just like that. And then this is another piece of the designer series paper, so it has actually got all the flowers in here like what is on the bigger pictures of the flowers. So this is this one here. Okay, and they are just gorgeous as well. So this is, I like the yellow side, and I'm just going to pop that there with this. Now, if you like my video and would like to share it on your social media, I do appreciate that, because it all helps me get my name out there. Not that I necessarily want to sell. I'm quite happy just that people like to buy these kits and play along with me. Now, I just noticed there's just quite a bit of glue missing from there, so I'm just going to doctor that up a bit and stick a little bit of adhesive inside there. And whoops, that's the wrong lid. And then I'm just going to hold that down so that that holds there. Yeah, so if you'd like to share my videos on your social media, just so that my name can get out there and I can do some more of these kits for people, or some people just might like to grab a catalogue, which I'm more than happy to share. Now we've got the vellum cardstock, and this is beautiful vellum. I love this. We're just going to put a little bit of adhesive here because we're going to have the flower over it, and then a little dot there because I'm going to have a gem on it, and a little dot there, and that'll hold it to our card. Trying to get it as free as close to the middle of there as possible. Okay, and just holding that down. And then you have the choice of dimensioning this or just laying it flat. I've dimensioned my sample card, but I think this one will go, I'll just go flat, I think, just for a little bit of change. And because I've got the two cards, it makes them look different then. But as I say, this is it's called Wonderful World, and it's got some absolutely gorgeous colours in it. The Orchid Oasis is this back colour, and some beautiful colours in it. I don't have it here, it's in the other room. But that is going to go just there. I'll just put it a little bit higher off the edge of the yellow designer series paper, and then I'm just going to rub that down so that it lays flat on my card like that. Now I've got in your kit some little rhinestones, and I'm just going to pop them on my card on top of, I can't even see where the glue was. One piece there, one piece. Nope, can't see where it was, so if I can't see it, then I'll just put it there. One piece, one gem there, and then I'm just going to put rhinestone one just in the middle of there. Okay, so that is our card. Pretty cute, pretty simple, pretty easy, pretty paper. So that's card number 2. Now we're just going to do that again with the lids, popping all these lids back together, and this is our 2 cards. So that's not the camera, we might move over a little bit so you can actually see what I'm showing you. That's our 2 cards. He's all there, I think it is, or he's all man, and the celebration paper. So there we go. Now these are going to be in your mailbox on Monday, hopefully, and I apologize again for my tardiness, but there you go. I'm human. Okay, so that's our 2 cards today. Please, if you want to put your hand, if I can help you with anything, please send me a question or a message on Facebook Messenger. And as I say, if you could share a video on your social media, that would be cool too. If you know anybody who hasn't got a demonstrator and would like a catalogue, please don't hesitate to ask them to contact me. And I am Felicity Dagg, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in New Zealand. And that is the end of today's class. Thank you very much. Have a great week. I will hopefully be back on Wednesday because I will certainly won't have time on Friday. So I'll see you Wednesday, and I apologise again for my tardiness. Ta-ra.